Hey, so this week I had my first couple of games of V3. I had one game where I played Soviets and one game that I umpired. Um, and of course I have thoughts, right? Um, so the first thought was that in both games, zero assault happened in total. Not a single assault. Nothing. So the game has massively changed from what we're used to with V2. Second thought was that it was so quickly that people started losing units. Now in V2, typically at turn 3, 4, people would like be okay. This is it. Now it's really going to go, and that happened turn 2. The first units in our first game, the first units were off the table turn 1, and the second game, turn 2, 4 units were lost turn 2. So it's really quickly that you start losing units, and they die enormously quickly from shooting. So the game, for me, has turned into much more of a shooty game than it previously was. It's very easy to die from shooting. It mathematically, like I was calculating the math beforehand, and it was like, nah, that's not going to happen. So that's a thing as well. And I have two more main points. The third main point that I have is that I believe that this game, because it's much more of a shooty game, in order not to bog down into gun lines, needs a bit more terrain than we're used to. And when I say a bit more, I'm like 25% plus more terrain than we are used to having on our tables. So I will of course be making loads of videos about how to build terrain tables for version 3, but you guys, you should already now start making more terrain, because you're gonna need it. Otherwise the game is going to bog down into people just standing there shooting at each other from their back lines, which did happen as well, by the way. So no assaults, loads of shooting, and more terrain. The fourth point I want to make, and the final one today, because this is going to be a short video, is that the new force organization chart lends itself to very high order dice counts and spamming of units. Like, you can really lean into spamming, and that does create a rock paper scissors effect, which is nice, I guess. Yeah, it's sort of, it works okay. But there are some units where the new rules have massively shifted their usefulness. So some units, some pieces of equipment are now massively influential and really good to have, and other units that we're used to having and have in our collection are now not very useful. So I predict also that a lot of us, me included, are going to go and have to buy new stuff. New miniatures, which is clever by Warlord Games if they made that on purpose. I don't think they did. But if they did that on purpose, and basically, I think that my new purchasing strategy is going to be, every time I buy something, I buy 3. Because with the new force organization chart and the spamming there, I predict that competitively I am going to need at least 3 of everything I get. So if something is good, if a unit that's become good new, like in the new edition, and I'm going to need it. So like at the end of version 2, I suddenly bought myself a Crusader AA, right? If I'm going to do that again, I'm going to buy 3, because that's the way I'm going to predict that the purchasing strategy for version 3 is. Now, will this keep up? I have no idea. This is like the first game, so this is the initial reactions from me. That was my thoughts, and I will see you in another video. Cheers.